Hey guys, Onit going to come in. Actually, I'm going to do what many of you have been asking me to do. I'm going to do some army comps for you guys. So I'm going to start off with my three favorite factions. So we're going to get Arverni, we're going to get Bowie, and then we're going to get Galatia on offense and defense. So let's get some of the same factions on this side. Galatia. Okay. So we're going to start off with an attacking Arverni as far as what I would say would be a solid army composition. Usually you'll see usually you'll see 1, 2, 4 rules, which if you guys don't know, 1 artillery, 2 pikes, and 4 ranged or missile units. Now Arverni, actually I don't think, all 3 of these, none of them have any pikes. So we don't really need to worry about that so far as their army comps are concerned. Let's just cancel all that stuff because I don't even know what the AI is doing there. So, all right. First and foremost, I would suggest for any faction or any battle that you play, especially when you're starting really starting to learn how to play, or even for more seasoned guys, I always go with the strategist ability because it gives you the second wind and battle rhythm. Battle rhythm will increase your melee attack power. I think it increases the charge as well. And second wind, any unit that you will see that is exhausted, definitely use that on them, especially if it's a solid unit. Like a good reason to use the second wind ability would be right after you use your Oathsworn. Just say you use Oathsworn and you have your Headhunt ability, and then you would also activate your battle rhythm as well to just do as much damage as possible in such a short amount of time. Immediately after those 2 abilities wear off, the unit will become exhausted. So right after that, boom, hit your second wind, goes right back to fresh unit. Yeah, always want a fresh unit, especially your heavy hitters. Yeah, a good attacking army for me would be, obviously, I would take an Oathsworn General because to me, they are very, very solid. They're probably, like I've said in several other videos, they are probably one of the best units in the game. And obviously, for a general unit, if you really want to come in and smash hard, this is a unit that will do that. Good backbone infantry for the army would be to have at least, I would say, 5 to 7. Usually the army comps that I play, as far as when I stream or anything like that, we do max 7 of the same unit. 9 times out of 10 you will see me take anywhere from 6 to 7 chosen swordsmen, but these guys are very, very good. They do have javelins, they have shield wall, they have a pretty good charge bonus, melee attacks very solid, weapon damage is very solid, melee defense is up there, armor 75, and for being 720, I would say they weren't not a bad choice at all. The second thing, obviously, I would take a couple of units to be able to push your siege equipment up. This is just for siege battles, guys. This has nothing to do with land battles. This is all just siege battles as far as what I would say would be good army compositions. So the naked swords, naked warriors, depending on the faction, they're called either naked swords or naked warriors. These guys would be good to have because they're a light shock infantry, as I call them. They are very good. Their armor is really, really low. So this is a, like I said, shock infantry. So you want to charge them in, get their frenzy kicked off, and then try and get them back out. Because, I mean, their melee defense is very high, but any archer or a ranged unit or anything in the vicinity, including javelins from another unit, can crush these guys very, very, very quickly. So if you do end up using them, use them wisely, and I would say sparingly as well. The most I have ever taken naked swords or naked warriors wise in an army would be 2. So I could say maybe that would be good on attack. Maybe just 1 would be a better idea. Also, as far as artillery is concerned, I always bring on attack, I always bring a Celtic Giant. I always bring the Giant Ballista. Always, because it has a lot of range. It can knock down walls. You can do a lot of damage to any infantry that's right inside the walls or anything like that. So definitely want to make sure that you bring a piece of artillery. I mean, you could take the mobile ones, but they are a little bit more expensive. Like the regular ballista here, the mobile ballista, wow, is 1,560. So double plus the amount of what that would cost for this unit. So Celtic Scorpions, not always a bad idea to bring. You can bring the Scorpions also. They come in handy if you can get the equipment inside of a settlement. They can come in very much, they can come in handy in really, really choke pointy areas, or if you can get a vision of the town center or where you would know that other units are going to be lining up, you can definitely use that as a definite bonus for your attack. But definitely get a giant ballista for certain. As far as defending the ballista, yes, you do have the infantry, but these guys are going to be focused on moving up towards the town, up towards the walls, defending anything as sort of a sally out or anything like that. So definitely, I would suggest to bring at least one unit of cavalry, because also if you can get them inside the settlement, they can do a lot of damage inside as well, maybe catching some archers out or, ranged units out or whatever. Also, obviously, you want to bring your ranged, well, actually, my normal army comp, I'm going to take the naked swords back out of there. You want to have at least your 4 units of ranged. You could possibly also take one of these chosens away so you can get your 2 levy freemen. I mean, you guys can mix and match a lot, but at least one levy freeman is... Oh, nope, not the chosen spearman, So, yeah, I would say at least one unit of levy freeman is always good, but, I mean, you guys can do whatever you're going to do as far as army comps and everything like that. But, yeah, this would be a pretty standard attack army for me as far as attacking for Arverni. Again, making sure to use that strategist ability. Then we'll get to the Bowie unit again. I'm going to start off with that Oathsworn. Another thing that you can do is you can bring, let's just double check and make sure. Yeah, they're a little bit cheaper. So you could actually get rid of the light horse and maybe get rid of one of the other ones and grab a second Oathsworn, which would allow you to bring 2 levy freemen. That second Oathsworn can cause a lot of damage, especially if used correctly. So you're going to bring 2 Oathsworn with you. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chosen swordsmen, 5 Celtic warriors, 4 Gallic hunters, and the giant ballista. So let's get into Bowie. We're also going to start off with the Oathsworn. Now, they're sword followers, arguably one of the strongest and most powerful, devastating mid-tier units there is in the game. So you definitely want to make sure that you're at least bringing 5 to 6 of those. The Axe Warriors are good. They are pretty good. They have a pretty good melee attack, weapon damage. Their melee defense and armor are pretty solid as well. I usually don't see a lot of people bringing the Axe Warriors, but they are a very, very good unit. So bring at least 2 of them. You can use them in tandem along with the Celtic Warriors to push up. Unfortunately for Bowie, they are a little lax in the bow department. Like the Arverni have the ninja hunters, as I call them, or the Gallic hunters. They have the ability to stalk, they can guerrilla deploy, and they have that quick reload. They also have snipe, which means they can shoot while hidden, so definitely a lot of pros for the Gallic hunters. Obviously, a negative would be that their armor is only 10, melee defense is 15, so they're not the greatest in melee infantry as far as melee goes, melee combat, but definitely are, in my opinion, one of the better units of hunters in the game. So back to Bowie here. I'm going to bring the 4 Celtic hunters, Celtic bowmen, because they are archers. They can still fire. They only have 125 range, and they don't have any abilities. But on attack, you tend to want to bring archers over slingers, because slingers 9 times out of 10, unless you get them in the right angle, in the right spot, 9 times out of 10, slingers can't fire over walls. Now, getting into the settlement, getting the slingers, if you bring slingers and they get inside the settlement, that is a totally different thing, and that will probably be set up for another video for me. Like I said back at the beginning, this is just going to be army comps as far as attacking and defending for my top 3 favorite factions. Depending on how this video does as far as views and comments and likes and everything like that, we'll see where we go from here, but you guys have asked me to do these kinds of videos before, so I'm going to start doing them now. So let's make sure that we get that Celtic ballista. Of course, definitely want to have that giant ballista. Now, as far as the rest of the army, we do have a lot of money left over here. So we're going to grab the standard 5 units of the Celtic Warriors to help push up the towers. That still saves us. We still have a ton of money left over. Over 1,000 left over, guys. So again, you could bring a heavy horse with you, or you could knock that heavy horse back off. Maybe drop one of your Celtic warriors, because you don't want to drop the sword followers. You want to make sure that you have a decent amount of sword followers. Now, with the added axe warrior or a Celtic warrior, you can drop either one, just to make sure to see if maybe you want to bring that other unit of Oathsworn, which would free up the money to be able to bring, again, one of your Levy Freemen, which, again, they're not the greatest. I'm not saying that they are god units. I am a huge fan of them because of their javelins. I have seen Levy Freemen cut cavalry units in half, on a single or two volleys, just completely annihilated a unit of cavalry, aside of like the cataphract, stuff like that, heavy armored cavalry, stuff like that. But even then, you might get lucky and get a really good javelin volley off with them. Unfortunately, they do not have the precursor, so they will take the standard time of any other regular unit that does not have the precursor, like a Thereo Spear or a Royal Peltas, something like that. So they will take the time to stand. You'll have to make sure that they're formed up to be able to get that javelin toss off. So, but that would be right there. Basically, another good attacking army as far as I'm concerned. Now, like I said, you can switch out the Axe Warriors and get another Celtic Warrior if you'd like. You tend to see a lot more Celtic Warriors than you do Axe Warriors, but the Axe Warriors, again, are not a bad unit. So, just going to throw that out there. Getting on to Galatia now. On attack, I usually take the Noble Horse General. I usually keep the Galatian Nobleman for defense. But again, that's the situation on who I'm playing. If I know who the players are that I'm playing against, I may end up taking the Noble Horse on defense. But usually, I will take the Galatian Nobleman. Again, arguably one of the greatest mid-tier infantry units here are the Galatian Legionnaires. So again, you want to make sure that you're taking anywhere between 5 to 7 of those, depending on what the rules are in the game that you're playing. So I currently have 6 loaded up. We're going to get down here and make sure that we have the Giant Ballista. Now, here's the big thing between Bowie, Arverni, and Galatia. Galatia can bring the Syrian archers, which you guys have seen Rome play. You guys have seen Galatia play before as well. They have these Syrian archers. Bactria has them as well. Very good archer units. Now, unfortunately I think Seleucid has them as well. But unfortunately for Galatia, you can only take a max of 3 of those. So you would usually either see somebody bring another Celtic Slinger, a Celtic Skirmisher, or they'll just stick with the 3 units of Syrians. Now, you could grab another unit. You could grab one of the Skirmishers, or you could save a little bit more money, another 70 dinar there, and grab up a Slinger. Again, going back to what I mentioned just before, as far as Slingers on attack, until you get them inside the settlement, to me, they're really not that effective unless units come sallying out, which again, circumstances are circumstances depending on the battle, who you're playing against, and whether or not they're going to sally units out, whether they're going to stay inside the settlement the entire time. Yeah, there's definitely a caution, an error, pros and cons kind of thing. So, but I would not bring the Celtic Slingers. I would just stick with the 3 Syrians. Again, obviously, I'm going to pick up the 5 units of my Galatian swords to be able to push up the siege equipment, which would be, obviously, I would bring myself the maximum amount of heavy siege equipment, heavy siege towers. I mean, you can bring a ram. Usually, you'll see people bringing a heavy ram if they have the ability to get a good enclosure around a gate to be able to knock down or at least neutralize gates for their gate towers and everything, because you can take a ton of damage trying to get in there. So yeah, I would definitely make sure that you guys get your siege equipment. That is an always, I've seen that forgotten so many times. Make sure you grab your siege equipment. That is Siege 101. After you've grabbed up all of your army and you've spent all the money that you're going to be able to spend, make sure you get over here and you take the maximum allotted of siege equipment, whether it be towers, rams, ladders. I would recommend you use the heavy siege towers because there's no difference in speed. They don't go any faster. The only difference is that the medium siege tower or the light siege tower will take damage faster than a heavy siege tower. So, all right, let's continue on here with the army. Definitely want to make sure that we get one of those Levy Freemen, again, because of the javelins that they have. You can do a lot of damage with javelins. Getting in, we will take 1 unit of the Mercenary Cappadocian Cavalry, which now I have a pretty solid army. I would say a pretty solid army. So if I wanted to, I could go back, pick up one of the Celtic Skirmishers, pick up one of the Celtic Slingers, or I could just use this 380 to bump up some of the units as far as giving them some chevrons. Probably would try and get at least a chevron on all of the Galatian Legionnaires, and there you go. So 4 out of my 6 automatically start off with better stats. You can see right there, their melee attack is 2 points better, their melee defense is 2 points better, their base morale is 1 point higher. So there you go. That would be my standard pickup for armies as far as the attacking of my top 3 factions. Now getting into the defense, again, we're going to start off with the Arverni force. Again, you would probably want to take an Oathsworn, but I have been known to take the Spear Nobles or the Noble Horse. Most of the time, though, I will take an Oathsworn, so we're going to pick him up. Now, again, remember, these are large funds. So on large funds for defense, you only have 10,500. That 30 is there. It's 10,500. You guys can see right there, I have it set as large for the funds. So we're going to pick up an Oathsworn General. Again, we're going to pick up the 5 units of Chosen Swordsmen. We're going to pick up 5 units of Celtic Warriors. We're going to make sure that we get our 4 units of Celtic Bowmen, or Celtic Gallic Hunters, sorry. Yeah, I've been calling them, yeah, these are Celtic, these are Chosen, these are Celtic, these are Gallic. Okay, whatever. You know what I mean. Now, I would say an okay difference for defense, especially if you're dealing with any sort of pikes coming in on from an attacking force. The archers are always good, but these Celtic Skirmishers can do a decent amount of damage, and they're not that bad armor-wise. They're obviously way better armor and melee defense-wise than the Gallic Hunters. They have a 27 melee defense, a 40 armor. Their damage is 32, their range is 80 as standard for skirmisher units. You know, that's normal range is 80. Missile damage is usually around 32, somewhere in there. But you can choose to bring a Celtic Skirmisher to help, you know, really javelin down. You can hide them in the back. You can keep them waiting for nearing the end stages of the battle. Never a bad idea to hold on to some skirmishers, because maybe the attackers might have used a lot of their ammunition on their frontal attack or their first attack on the settlement. So you may luck out and be able to get some good Celtic Skirmishers. They have a decent amount of ammunition. So, you know, you can do a lot of damage to pike units or, you know, noble swords, big heavy units that you'll see coming in near the end of a siege. Now, you could also go the route that a lot of people have seen me do as well. Make sure that you bring 2 heavy horse. Usually I'll bring 1 or 2 heavy horse, but they're good. They're good inside the settlement. They're good outside the settlement. It doesn't mean that you have to attack with them outside of the settlement. You could just use them as a deterrent. You know, hey, look, all of a sudden there's 2 units of heavy horse standing on the side of my army. I might want to keep an eye on that. Definitely don't want to just let my archers get murdered or my general have a massive rear charge on them or easily take out my artillery, stuff like that. So at least 1 or 2 of the heavy horse. So I will, for this army composition, I'll pick up the 2 heavy horse. Now, why would I not take the noble horse? Well, noble horse is 100 less than 2. So, I mean, it's 1,300 here for the noble horse, which obviously are very, very good. They come with Encourage, which is definitely another fantastic ability, passive ability that a lot of units have in the game. But for me personally, getting those 2 heavy horse in there, they have the frenzied charge. They do have a decent charge bonus. Their weapon damage and melee attack are pretty good. Their armor is pretty solid. Melee defense, like I said, is already pretty good. So you can't really go wrong in that. For me also, I would make sure that you pick up 2 more units of those Levy Freemen, or maybe 1 unit of the Levy Freemen, and you could take that and maybe pick up another Chosen Swordsman, so you'll have a total of 6 there. Or you could pick up 2 more units of the Celtic Warriors as more of your frontline infantry. And again, you have 180 left over, so maybe we can toss 1 there. We can get some of our some of our Celtic Warriors to have a little bit more of stats towards the frontline infantry. So, all right, let's get into Bowie here again for the Bowie defense. Now, again, hold on real quick. Let's take away all these chevrons. If you wanted to, you could not bring the Oathsworn General. Bring this, you'll have another 220. So if you want, you could bring another Levy Freeman on defense. Again, it's a lot of javelins. They have a high bonus versus large, 25, one of the highest in the game for a not very expensive unit. 210 dinar for a unit that has one of the highest level bonus versus large. Melee defense is pretty high. They do have those javelins, so, but again, it's a mix and match kind of thing. You just do whatever you want to do. Again, you always have to make sure that you are kind of trying to balance your army as best as you can against the forces that are going to be coming in. Now, on defense, you have the ability, unlike on attack. Attack, you line up, and whoever, you don't get to choose who's going to line up against you unless you have a previous conversation in the Discord or in the game chat here, before you say who you are going to face. If maybe, let's just say that Dan and I were playing and we were on the other teams from each other, and he said, AJ, I'm going to defend against you, or, Joe, I'm going to defend against you. He always calls me AJ, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway, whatever. It's pretty much well known that is actually my first name. So yeah, that would be the direction. Again, you could drop that, and what did I do? Yeah, you could drop the other heavy horse. You could pick up a Celtic Slinger. I mean, it's all kind of up to you guys. I'm, again, just giving you a couple of ideas on what I tend to run as far as offense and defense for these three factions. I'm only doing 3, so let's actually close these 4th slots on either side there. Getting into Bowie here. Now, again, I'm going to start off with the Oathsworn. I'm going to get myself the 5 sword followers. I'm going to grab myself the 5, all right, is that 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5 units of the Celtic Warriors. I'm going to pick up 2 Celtic Bowmen and 2 Celtic Slingers. Now, the Slingers, as I said earlier, on defense, Slingers have a lot better of an opportunity, because if guys come in onto the walls and they get on the towers, onto the walls, you can shoot them down, and the Slingers have a high AP. We'll just take a look at their missile damage. Their armor piercing is 4. Let's take a look at the Celtic Bowman real quick. It's 4 as well. I thought it was lower. I'm learning something with you. Okay. Well, either way, Slingers have more ammo. There you go. You can always, add that into your thoughts as far as defending factions. Slingers have more ammo than archers do. So let's see. What else do we have here? I'm going to take the 2 Celtic Bowmen, the 2 Celtic Slingers. We have our 5 Celtic Warriors, our 5 chosen swords, 5 sword followers, sorry. At this moment, if I wanted to, I could, in fact, grab another Oathsworn, which, I mean, you can never say, to me, you can never say no to too much Oathsworn. I could drop that down, do the same thing that I did with the Arverni forces, pick up 2 heavy horse, or maybe just 1 heavy horse. The light horse, they have the frenzy charge, but you're really not going to get a whole lot of kills with them. I mean, every once in a while, you'll see a random light horse unit that gets 200-300 kills or whatever. But most of the time, your light horse category of cavalry is really good for running down archers and slingers and missiles and stuff like that. Certain archers and missiles and stuff like that. Because real quick, I'm just going to open this up, and let's go to the Gete, and we're going to pick up, just to show you, we're going to pick up a Dacian Heavy Bowman. Their armor is 30. They can do pretty well in melee, so you don't really want to mess around all that much. Another good faction that you can take a look at as far as ranged units is the Heavy Numidian Skirmishers for Massaceae here. Weapon attack 30, weapon damage 35, armor 45, melee defense 43. Light horse, not really going to do a whole lot against that Massaceae Numidian Skirmisher. Just not going to happen. So, again, just remember, look and see what you're dealing with as far as being attacked, stuff like that. Now, on defense, it's also not a bad idea to bring some spears. We're going to toss in our 2 Levy Freemen right off the bat. We still do have enough money if we wanted to. We could grab another unit of the heavy horse. And now I have 660 to play with. I could pick up a Naked Warrior. I could pick up Axe Warrior. I could pick up another unit. I could pick up a Spear unit here. I could grab up there's a bunch of different things. I could use them for chevrons. I could use that whole 660 for chevrons. Again, make sure that you're grabbing your equipment. Depending on the size of the settlement here, let's just make sure that we get this onto large. This is where you'll usually see battles taking place. Always want to make sure that you grab a piece of wall artillery. Do not forget the wall artillery. It can save lives. Literally can save you lives. So, all right, getting back in onto the Bowie I forces. This is not the army that I chose, so we're going to do that all over again. So I'm going to get the 1. I'm going to get the 5. I'm going to get the 5. I'm going to get the 2 and 2. So we're down to 2480. We're going to grab the 2 heavy horse. And with 1080 left, I could, if I wanted to, grab 3 more Celtic warriors, continue holding that front line. Or I could grab another sword follower, maybe another Levy Freeman. Actually, I already had one. I mean to have one Levy Freeman. Nope, can't get the second Levy Freeman. So what would we need to do? We could drop a heavy horse, get the second Levy Freeman. There's a bunch of different... Again, I know that I'm saying a bunch of different ways that you can do it. It all depend on the play style that you have for these factions because they're barbarians. They can do a ton of damage. Literally can do a ton of damage. Most of the barbarian factions, their armor piercing is way higher than other factions as far as like mid-tier, low-tier stuff like that. So, I mean, obviously, if you were dealing with Rome and you were fighting against Praetorians or Praetorian Guards or veteran legionnaires or something like that, yeah, they have some pretty good stats. I would also put, me personally, an Oathsworn versus a regular Praetorian. I'd put an Oathsworn as a victor for that, but that's just me personally because I am more favorable of the Barbarian factions. So, but yeah, I still have 600 left over, so if I wanted to, I mean, I could bring a naked warrior if I wanted to. Get in there, you know, while there's fighting going on, bring them around a flank and just charge headlong into the back of a unit and hit that frenzy and just slice them up. So many, again, different opportunities, different things that you guys could choose to do. But so my standard would be I'm going to get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to drop that. I'm going to go back to my normal. I'm going to pick up this other heavy horse. And I would more than likely probably bring another Celtic warrior and then divvy up the rest of these funds into chevrons. Final defending army on the battlefield we will start off, I'm going to deal with here is Galatia. I'm going to take the Galatian noblemen on this because they can hold for a long time. Their melee defense is 74. You put them into shield screen, that will up their bracing, melee defense, and shield strength. They will be able to take a lot more damage. They will be able to defend themselves a lot better. I'm pretty sure that that shield screen will tip them over 100. Or it brings them damn close to 100 for their melee defense. So, very good, solid spear infantry unit as far as a general is concerned for me. You could bring a noble horse if you need to rush over and toss out your general abilities. You obviously get there a lot faster with with a cavalry general over a infantry general. But me personally, I would tend to bring a Galatian nobleman general. Again, we're going to go back into the standard 5. We're actually going to bring 6. We're going to see... I'm going to build this army with you guys. We're going to build a new army. So we're going to take... Actually, you know what? We're going to go with my standard streaming rules. We're going to take the max 7 units. So there's my 7 units of Galatian Legionnaires. I'm going to make sure right off the bat that I grab my 3 Syrians. We're going to grab 5 units of the Galatian swords. And we're going to pick up a Levy Freeman. Again, for nothing other than those javelins. Now, a lot of people out there could be disagreeing with me. They say Levy Freeman aren't that good. Perfectly fine. That is their play style. That is the way they play. That is their, that's their thoughts. That is their feeling on the matter, however you want to word it. But I'm always a big fan of the Levy Freeman. We're actually going to take one of the Galatian Legionnaires off. So we're going to only have 6. So we'll end up with 910 funds left over. Again, if I wanted to, I could pick up a Cappadocian. These guys are pretty solid. You could pick up 2 light horses if you want to try and quickly dart out and grab up the archers or slingers or ranged units, whatever, or get some charges in onto, hillmen or stuff like that are bringing in the siege equipment for the attackers. But I'm going to go with the 1 Celtic light horse, and then we're going to pick up 2 more Levy Freeman, and there you go. That's going to leave me 40 left over. Again, I'm going to make sure that I pick up my 1 wall artillery. Deployables here, as far as my streams are concerned, most of the time, deployables are not permitted. We don't use deployables when we play, at least when I'm streaming. I feel like deployables give the defenders so much more of an advantage than what they would already have, having the walls, having the towers, wall artillery, stuff like that. So the reason why I say, as far as the wall artillery is concerned, unless you're facing a faction that has vanguard troops, the towers, unless you line them up right when you're first moving forward, likelihood of killing off a wall artillery, especially on an actual walled settlement, not a barbarian settlement, is not very high, because you're going to be firing straight on, and the wall artillery have this mystical, magical, invisible shield around the 4 guys that are manning the piece of wall artillery. Now, you obviously always have that what-if chance of, hey, maybe the tower got a lucky shot in there, or it was just coming in on the right angle, on the left or the right side, or the wall artillery had turned itself, gave a little bit more of an opportunity for a shot from the the Scorpion on the top of the towers. Again, that's just for walled settlements. Barbarian settlements, towers don't get Scorpions, as we pretty much all know. And if you didn't, now here at 31 minutes into the video, I'm letting you guys know, Barbarian settlements, you cannot have Scorpions on the top of the towers. You can grab up your heavy towers, or your light towers, or your medium towers. You will not have a Scorpion on the top. That is the difference between Barbarian settlements, or one of the differences between Barbarian settlements and walled settlements. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm going to leave it off as. These would be my army comps. Of course, they're going to mess them up, because I switched the settlement. I switched the settlement size, so all of my original army compositions have been replaced. I mean, look at this, attacking 4 Scorpions. 4 Scorpions. Like, this is what the AI would choose. Two giant ballistas, a Scorpion. Let's check and see what the Arverni... No, although it has a... Is this mine? Oh, this is my army buildup. This was my army buildup, because I remember I left it at the perfect 0. So, but alright guys, again, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I'm going to try and do some more of these, maybe use some other factions, maybe get into some tactic videos, stuff like that, because again, back at the beginning, I said a lot of people have been asking me and saying, Joe, when are you going to do your faction campaign? When are you going to do your faction breakdown lists? When are you going to do your faction overviews? Stuff like that. So I hope that I gave you guys enough information here. If you want me to go more in depth as far as the units are concerned, I would love to make another video. I would totally make another video for you guys as far as what I think some of the best units are in the game. Maybe like a top 10 units, or top 10 best unit, top 10 worst unit, faction breakdowns, my opinion as far as like top factions in the game, top best factions, top worst factions, stuff like that. So, but all right, I'm going to end it here, guys. Pretty good video, I would say, almost 33 minutes long. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. So please, if you did, make sure hit that like button, drop a comment down below, share the content around, and if you are new to the channel, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. It's free. It's right there. It's red. Click it. Boom. Thank you guys very much. Have a good rest of your day. Stay safe, and as always, until the next one.